everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is War 7 of Season 41, and today we're up against Dark Devils 13. Today I have White Mags for pre-fights, Hulkling, and making her SSX debut, Titania. So, very exciting to have her. We're starting off with Path 4 in Section 1. We're taking that Rintrah and the Ibom, taking that Peni on 23, and then in Section 2 taking Mojo and Shuri on Path 2. So starting off with this Rintrah, the nodes give him a couple of ways that he can be annoying. He firstly has increased defensive ability accuracy, which means he'll gain his charges even faster by applying neutralize to you. And he'll also gain fury buffs when he applies a debuff to you. There's the running on fumes node, which applies fatigues. So because of that, I'm just going to be heavy attacking a lot more than I usually would against Rintrah. He gains more charges, so have to knock him down more. My heavies apply a stagger, so I control the fury buff that he gets as well. Another thing that I'll be doing is parrying or blocking the first hit of his special one. And that's because even though Titania is buff immune, she can still have a buff failed by neutralize. And if I dex the first hit of his special one while I have a neutralize on me, gives him extra charges, gives him a power gain buff. Usually I'll stagger that, but it's just worth being safe, especially in the first fight for Titania. So we're at the special 3 now. I can see that the amount of power that Rintrah has right now means one more heavy pushes into another special one, parry that, dex out the rest, or dodge out the rest, and then we can throw SB3. What I do with Titania in War, just to be safe, is I go in after a special 3 and I do 2 heavies. That means that the second heavy is well within the duration of my Haymaker, which means that if Rintrah retaliates or throws a special, I am absolutely safe to tank through it with the remaining duration of Haymaker. If I went for a third heavy, what can happen is the AI will throw a special and it can clip you. It won't do much damage because of all those debuffs. It might even miss because you've got a falter on them, but there's a slight chance that things go wrong, so that's why I only do the 2 heavies. But Rintrah went down very, very smoothly, and we move on to the next fight. So Hulkling versus this Ibom. So I don't have a lot of ability accuracy when I'm blocking, because there are going to be quite a few debuffs on me. The insult to injury node is what is causing that, and you know, Ibom can apply Petrify to me, weaknesses to me, there's a heal block from the node, so I'm basically just not going to rely on my parries at all. At the start of the fight, I am just building up those 4 pierce. That means that I only have 1 more to get for the unblockable. Just sets myself up so that I'm not in a position where I need to make him hold block more than I need to. We get that special off with the unblockable, got both my furies, bay out the special 1. I go in after this and throw my L2 right away. I've got cosmic power boosts, so I got back up to another L2 very quickly. I also had the 2 furies from the initial one, so that left me with 3. The weakness is stacking up a little bit, but it's not really enough to stop Hulkling, and 1 more special 2 does the trick. Next up with this Peni fight, I went into this fully expecting to eat an L2. Peni special 2 has 9 hits on those quick fire web blasts, and that means unless you're on 0 stacks of bubble shield, the last hit will hit you, and that means that there's 1 final hit of the special which can apply all those incinerates. There's 2 ways that Peni's L2 can actually be a threat. First, with those web shooter attacks, no matter how many charges she has, she does an instant incinerate per spider charge. So that doesn't matter how many she has, it just does more per charge. And then the final hit, when she has 8 or more, will consume all the charges to inflict an incinerate debuff per charge. So that basically means that I want her to throw a special when she has as few charges as possible. That means I'm going to try not to let her use SP1s if she's going to look like she's going to an L2. And because of power focus, she probably will get an L2. I've got cosmic power back boosts on, so I'm hoping to go in and just nuke it down before she can throw an L2. But if she throws an L2, I'm very likely to eat it. That's why I don't want to throw any special ones beforehand. So going into that fight now, I'm going to start off by just trying to take down her shield. I've got my eye on the root node, timer, so I don't want that to catch me off. And here I just about managed to get a hit in before the root triggers. I'm trying to get her to back off now so that I can throw an unblockable L2 and we manage it. She's above the limit where she gets more power, so it means I can just wail into her. Unfortunately, the L2 doesn't quite get me back to another one, so she gets some flourish, gains a little bit more power than she actually would. She throws the L2. I was on 3 bubble shield charges, so it catches me. But she didn't have many spider charges, so it's all good. The root triggers, and the way I deal with that is I just dex and then parry a hit. Her auto block triggers on my next hit because she has so many charges. That removes all the flourish buffs she got from her L2. And I back off, dash back in and throw my L2 with 1 pierce charge left. My unblockable triggers partway through and we finish the fight off. Overall, I'm definitely glad I didn't let her throw any L1s first. If she had, then I would have had to play the fight a lot slower and make sure that she never got to an L2, which could have been hard with the power focus. But yeah, would be very happy to take that fight again. So next up we have this Mojo. The White Mags was actually originally assigned for Boss Island, but our BG ended up moving very fast and I was stuck in section 2, so they just decided to take down the boss. That meant I had a couple White Mags pre-fights to place for myself. So I actually placed one on this Mojo fight. Apart from that, it's pretty simple. I'm going to try not to push him to L2s because there's a chance that he degens me. So bait out L1 to be safe. But, you know, it's because Titania's buff immune, it's a fairly no nodes fight. So going into this, I have power start 1 for the next fight. And it will carry over, so I'm just going to use my Haymaker to push him just about over a bar of power. Then I can just stand there and use the Haymaker to bait out some of the specials. A lot of the time the AI likes to throw a special when you just stood there like that. Throw my L2, it does a nice chunk of damage. I don't really like using my L3 against Mojo because he has a specific L3 animation that is not Titania's own one. That means that you don't actually end up in the corner and you lose all of your debuffs pretty much without being able to refresh them. So I just go for L2s versus Mojo in general. But it's a very safe fight. He's thrown his L1s when I needed to. I've just blocked them rather than trying to outrange them. Sometimes he can really lunge at you. And with all the weaknesses and a very weak SP1 in the first place, it just does no damage. So there's not really much harm in just taking it on block. And the fight's over and we're all good. And next up we have this Shuri on the EMP mod fight. I've got cosmic power back boosts just to be safe. I know that I can't bait a heavy from Shuri, or well, she'll make me miss if I do bait a heavy from Shuri if she's at 10 of her charges. That means that I'm going to keep an eye on those. I'm going to try to get to my L2 before she can even throw off a special. We've got there, we've gone unblockable, thrown the L2, given me a ton of power back. She dashes back in and I throw another one to finish off the fight. So the reason I was boosted so heavily for these fights was because at this point it was a very stressful war. We dropped quite a few deaths early on and gave ourselves, like I said, a very stressful afternoon waiting to see if they died more than us. And throughout the day they ended up dropping more than us, and then we ended up winning this war 7-15. Like I said, a little bit of a messy war from us. This is a little bit over the target that we set ourselves, but hopefully next war we can get back down to the 2s and the 3 finishes, which would be really nice. But this puts us at 4-3 for the season. So winning the next war would put us 5-3, obviously, and that would be a great position to solidify Masters in the back half of the season. This would be the first time I ever got Masters, and that would be pretty cool. So I'm really hoping that we manage to carry on doing as awesome as we are now. But thanks for watching another war video. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.